All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Readers. I just quickly want to say hi to my dad and tell him I love him so much. Unfortunately, I can't really say I love you to TTOO or NVOS, all right? Listen, on yesterday's video, I was talking about me being wrong on TTOO. I think I need to start today's video also saying the same thing. I don't know if I flip-flopped too early, but I'm going to give you a good amount of general thoughts on TTOO before we get into the actual lines and technical analysis side of it, all right? But buy the rumor, sell the news is a very, very fundamental phrase, right? And it's for a reason. And one thing that I really like to stress is I'm not the smartest guy in the room. I am not the smartest person between me and you watching the video that I'm making. You know what I mean? Believe me when I say I'm just a regular person that has put a lot of times into these lines, all right? I'm going to go over what I thought was a really good conversation. You don't need to pause it there. I'll show it to you and I'll go over it. But yeah, I'm going to give you some general thoughts as well as, technical thoughts. NVOS, listen, I don't want to sound cocky, but I think people are starting to get scared now as opposed to my early signals a few days ago and a few candles ago, whenever it's been, you know what I mean? But I don't think I saw a lot of news to really justify the hard drop on NVOS. That said, we're all seeing the same thing, right? And more than anything, let me know if I'm wrong there, but I'm just seeing a natural technical movement. I really, really am, all right? And then MULN. Listen, MULN is an easy one to make fun of. I actually had bigger hopes for it, and I think tomorrow should tell the truth. I am basically looking at an important doji on the daily right next to some critical lines. So that's basically going to be the heart of the MULN talk. But before we go any further and I give you more of my thoughts and opinions, what are we going to do today? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages. There are horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself. And then when we are done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can please subscribe to the channel, share this video online with your friends, comment good or bad. Look, anything you can do helps me so much with these YouTube algorithms, but for real, just being here, giving me your time is beyond appreciated, all right? So let's get into TTOO. And again, before I talk about these colorful lines that I love so much, I was very bullish yesterday. I was on yesterday's video. I put a 60-cent target. I probably even put this exact 62-cent target. I held overnight, and man, I was wrong, all right? Luckily for me, I didn't fanboy it. And once we basically lost that same 38 that gave me the reason to get in, I had to hit eject. And it was sad. I was really sad. More than anything, I was sad that I had such good profit yesterday that I should have banked. I got a little greedy. I did. And it goes to show why I talk about just, man, these lines are important, all right? The next thing I want to talk about is buy the news, buy the rumor, sell the news. Man, I struggled with that and I'm struggling it here, okay? This is something I shared on both Discord platforms, actually, all right? Word for word. And I hope you see what I'm trying to say, but look, when I love to gamble, all right? I actually love roulette. And for me, the best part is when that little ball is spinning, all right? There is so much unknown. Man, your heart races. Is it going to land on your number? Are you about to hit 35 to 1 or 12 to 1 if you pick some colors or rows? Or there's so many different ways you can do so many different things, right? And that's what I see the stock market as. It's this giant table, all right, with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of 3-letter and 4-letter things. And I'm putting my money on that table. And come 5 p.m. my time, 8 Eastern, when the market's done, after hours is done, your moments to sell or buy are actually done until tomorrow, that's the ball spinning for me. And once it lands, and this is it, once it lands and I know the number, once it lands and I know if it hit or not, I'm done and I'm ready for the next roll, all right? And for me, that actually means I held. I thought we were going to go up. We didn't, all right? Then I see us open down here, and there wasn't even a wick up. You can see the open of the day and the high of the day were both 0.4, 0.4, right? All we did was go down, and once we lost this line, again, that same line, can I show it well in the 15-minute chart? I should be able to. That should be the line right there. That's 37. So it was 38 for me if you watched yesterday's video, all right? And I'm gonna just quickly move this to 38. Where did the 38 number come from? Again, before I start doing things, you can, damn, I'm mixing things up. Whatever. It was for sure 38. I know that I know that for a fact, all right? So this same 38 line that made me believe, let's go, go, go. Man, again, September 19th, that first couple hours we were battling with it, all right? We never really lost it. We never really took off from it. We just stayed here. Once it looked like it was over, and for me it was at the 37 mark. That's actually where I sold. Yeah, I think it was probably give or take before that point right there. I sold at 37. I bought at 38 yesterday. I was sad. You know what I mean? Like, it was less about the fact that I took a little bit of a loss, more the reality is that, dude, I had these profits up here that I should have banked. And again, man, greed is real, all right? So with the buy the rumor, sell the news, with the line right here that I'm going to delete, because again, it was just for thing. But once I lost the entire yesterday candle, it was game over. And basically what I was doing is I was watching what happens with the moving averages. I don't know if you can see it. I should be able to show it. So the average 20 is sitting at 0.34. Our close is also at 0.34. I believe, and again, I wish I can zoom in more. I wish there was a couple more decimals. There's a couple of things I wish, but hey, it's all good, right? This is a machine for me that I'm willing to accept a couple things with. It seems like we're actually still over the 20. All right. And if you remember this entire few week of trading, I kept saying, I hate the 20, I hate the 20, I hate the 20, I hate the 20, I hate the 20. When we gapped up yesterday, I thought that was incredibly good strength. All right. Especially when we gapped up on the fact that there was real news too with good volume, right? Like that's a lot of the reasons why I flip-flopped yesterday. I don't know if we're about to give up the lines that I just thought we gapped up, and that would be bad because this 50% candle is still over the 8. That one is under, and that one is actually the bottom of this one too, roughly speaking. Definitely the bottom of this one too, roughly speaking. I think there's a lot of reason to believe TTOO might actually come down at 29. Might actually mean I was correct when I was saying that this isn't there just yet, all right? The one thing that's still kind of driving a lot is, look, this FDA, so someone put a really good comment in the YouTube video from yesterday. I'll be honest, it's a relatively newer person. I don't remember the name. I believe it starts with an R, but the word FDA approval seems like it never actually was published yesterday. It was FDA clearance. Sounds like the clearance and approval is the same thing. Again, I'm less blaming any of that. You for sure have not heard me use the word manipulation. You for sure have not heard me use the word short attack. The only person I have blamed this entire time is myself. I should have sold right here. I should have sold right here. I should have sold right here. I unfortunately sold right here on this day. Actually, probably a little closer right there in the 37s, like I said. I'm not blaming manipulation. I'm not blaming short. Dude, the only person that had any influence on what I should have done was the person on this side of the screen whose finger was on the mouse, all right? And that, I'm telling you, I feel like those words are the easiest crutch, the easiest scapegoat, and it is an easy and unfortunate way to take away from an important learning experience. Like I once again reinforce my belief that this 20 is really hard to break. I'm now seeing if I over anticipated this gap up on the news. I am now seeing if I should have, done more of a buy the rumor, sell the news thing. Like I'm learning from this, all right? Unfortunately, had to lose some money to learn, right? And that's where you learn the most. I actually made a video on that not that long ago, but yeah, I'm here less to justify what happened today, and I am here to accept the realities and anticipate tomorrow. All right. One more time, 29 cents is my number. And 29 cents is based on basically that line right there. And it unfortunately puts us back under the 8 and the 20. All right. Best case is this 34-cent line, which was an important line before, which is basically sitting exactly on the 20 averages. Again, I'm clicking right here and you can see it in the box over there. We must bounce tomorrow and bounce back into 39. I'm sorry, I'm looking over here. I think it's this right here, 41. If you really want to know the number, it's 41. If we can get back into 41, I will start to believe again. We will have completely regained this bad red candle. We're obviously into this candle again, and we're actually into the biggest candle to the left. It's this right here. That's our number for tomorrow's close, all right? TTOO, I will be very honest. This has been a wildly important lesson for me, okay? I am so glad I sold a good amount right here. I am incredibly disappointed that I wasted some good profit right there. You know what I mean? So, yeah, let me know your thoughts and opinions, all right? You know I love having these really good conversations with people, and even if we disagree, that doesn't mean we can't have a good conversation. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I think that's everything. Let's just peek at the weekly really quickly. Are we under the 8 or are we over the 8? Okay, we're under the 8 as of Tuesday, all right? Ooh, look at that. I didn't know that. If I right-click, it holds. Oh, that's cool. All right. Look, sorry, that was stupid. TTOO, the green number on top is 0.34. That's obviously where we sit as of right now. When you look at 8 average, we're actually under it because the 8 average is at 0.35. We're a penny under the weekly. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is still around there, around the corner. Hopefully it gets us back, but there's reason to be worried. And again, I don't know if we're about to drop back under all 3. I don't know if we're about to keep going horizontal like I said we were the last couple weeks. I don't know if we're going to bounce. Like, I have no crystal ball for tomorrow, but I think we're going to get a couple extreme things. 41 or 29. I actually really think those are going to be the numbers. Or it's going to be a doji tomorrow, and then we'll see what happens on Thursday. If I had to give an anticipation, all right? Let's come into NVOS, all right? Look. The one thing I actually really try to do is not brag about being right, all right? I don't want to waste minutes talking about how good I am and in hopes that, like, you know, you'll like me more or whatever, all right? I sincerely believe, I do, all right? Today's entire which obviously was starting after hours yesterday, right? So there was a lot of conversation on it, but I genuinely believe this is the reaction of fear that really I was talking about on this day, I was talking about on this day, I was talking about on this day, and then I very much so talked about yesterday. This was a critical doji on a critical trend line, under a critical and actually very close to a critical moving. Like, there's the word critical was just said like 17 billion times in that 3-second like moment, right? Like, this was a doji. No, it wasn't as skinny as that one, but hey, you know, I'm loose with that word, and to me that was enough. This is a truth, and I kept saying this wick like spoke to me like this whisper at night. Like, I know it sounds so silly, but there was so much. I also very much believed in my line right here that I've stressed. There was not a lot of reason to show. I don't think a lot of people had this. Again, maybe I'm wrong, right? I don't really watch other people's NVOS videos. Nonetheless, all right, bad things happen under the 8, all right? One of the bad things that happens under the 8 is you fall to the 20, all right? That's generally not a bad thing, all right? Because again, I always say good things happen over the 8 and the 20. So, hey, we've seen it already before. Like, we bounce, we slip, and hey, the 20 is actually able to hold, and hey, it gets a little help from these two, right? I think there were other moments where I remember seeing the 20 bounce. Again, whatever. It's not even worth it. What then happened, like I said, was the 8 was up here. And one of the bad things is, as good as the spacing between the lines is when they're going up, and I believe we've got room to like smash it, and that's a lot of what happened damn, these lines move too much, whatever. I want to show examples, right? I have like all these thoughts in my head, but nonetheless, when you lose the 8 up here at 30 something, almost 40, and you see the next line down is almost half in the 20s, and you know the rule is break this, go to this, break this, go to this, break this, go to this, or lose this, go to this, lose this, go to that, right? Like when you know those rules are, I repeat them every time, that's what happens. And the goal is to anticipate it early and sell when it's really easy to, as opposed to that after hour flood of scary. All right. And look, where are we right now? The realities are we're under the 20 moving average. It is for sure just one candle, and we need to see what the confirmation is. But that's now a bad MACD. That is still and continuing to be a worse and worse RSI. Oh, excuse me. Sorry about that. It wasn't that long ago. RSI was just living down here in the 30s. We still got 50% down to go if that's where we're going to go. And that makes me believe, dude, I'm not, dude and dudette, right? You know, I say that to the girls just like the guys. Dude, I am not here to spread fear. I am not here to tell you what to do with your money. I'm here to honestly tell you there's a lot of reason to believe 17 cents is a very possible reality. Maybe 1920 will hold. That's still a 20% drop from where we're at, right? Because I'm talking about losing another 4 cents. Basically 5 cents is 20%, right? I actually think we'd go down to 19, if not 17, because again, lose the 8, come to the 20, lose the 20, come down here. Now look, do I believe we're going to go any lower than this right here? I don't. I thought this was a good enough cluster to catch it. I still think this is a good enough cluster to catch it. I think it could go as low as 15, right? Because again, you can see that number on the box over there. 16's the 100, 15's the 200. That should be the lowest it goes before we hopefully do another nice little bounce. Going from 25 to 17 or 16 or 15, that's scary. You're losing almost a complete dime on a stock that only has 2.5 dimes, right? Like that's scary. On top of, like I said, bad RSI, bad MACD, horrible volume, right? Like there is more to worry here than be excited about. And again, we talked about it yesterday. I talked about it after this candle. I talked about it on this candle, and I actually talked about it on this big day on the 19th. Wow. The 13th, when everyone was screaming gap fill, gap fill, gap fill, throwing out $1 numbers, if not like almost $2 numbers. Yeah, I talked about selling. And again, you know, I'm not here to tell you what to do with your money, right? But this right here has me more worried that this is going to come down. If we were to go up, all right, we need to close at 27 tomorrow, all right, maybe even 28 if we can. And then, oops, don't click that. The money line is getting over 37 cents, all right? You can see it over there in the box. 36 is the 8 right now. I need you to get back over the 8 moving average, that's for sure, all right? Today is just a single bad day in terms of the technicals. We're under the 20, we don't want to be, but it is just one candle under the 20. Let's see what it confirms tomorrow. Where are you post-market? I don't like that direction. I don't like that. You know, I generally ignore after hours, but NVOS, there's a lot to worry about, all right? Let's come into MULN. Okay, MULN. I very much loved this 9/14 candle, this Thursday candle, all right? To me, and I'm going to explain why, there are what I call good days and bad good days, okay? What does that basically mean? Look, not all good is equal. All right, here's a simple one. This day was a 5%, almost a 6%. This day was a 66%, right? Like, that's a good day. Yeah, that's not a bad good day, but yeah, definitely not as good as that, okay? The extreme gets louder when you start to look at the general outlines versus these filled ins. I don't like filled in green, okay? Because what happens on a filled in day is it opens up here at 55, right? You can see it in the box over there, $2.55. And then it comes all the way down to $1. So more people lost 60 plus cents then they gained whatever that was. You know what I mean? Like, that's a bad day. And that day was the first one on the 20 moving average before that string, all right? Going back before, you can see same green filled in on the 20. Same green filled in on the 20. Both of those failing. I think there was one more, there wasn't. But yeah, that was the consistent pattern we were seeing as we approached the 20. This day right here didn't do that, okay? This day right here was a good break of the 20, but again, one single candle means nothing. One single candle puts us over the line. We want the break and confirmation, right? And this was a big day. I'll be honest with you, I actually rode most of that, which was beautiful on my end. I actually started to believe that we were going to go up to the 50. I can't even pretend that. I thought this was going to go from 60 to 90. I was going to make a quick 50%. I had some bigger anticipations here, okay? Monday quickly, I wouldn't even say quickly, because you can see Monday actually opens up here at 70. Monday goes up to 75, right? Like, there was a lot of good happening there. Once we started to come into this candle, I pulled the plug really quick. I was at least able to bank and keep most of my profits, let alone most of my entry as well, right? I was very sad to see how yesterday went. Today, I actually was anticipating it, and it did happen. We came to the 20 moving average. You can see the average 20 today was sitting at 0.55. You can see the low of the day was actually 0.55 as well, right? So that said, I didn't buy there. Okay, I didn't. There are times when it hits the line or it hits the number that I anticipate, but it still doesn't mean like let's buy. And truth be told, I could have bought and made about 10%, right? So some might argue, hey, I should have. Again, I don't do this full time, this being trading, right? It's not like I got my finger on the mouse and I can control every minute of every day, right? This is a critical candle for me, all right? And it's the doji candle. I am not a candle shape trader. I'm barely a candle pattern trader. Like, you never hear me talk about wedges and, you know, head and shoulders. That's just a shampoo to me, baby. All right. Like, that said, the doji, it screams uncertainty. Some people thought we were going to go back, start to break back into this candle. Other people thought, no, we're coming back to the 20. That, let's be honest, we still have a little bit to prove, right? Like, yes, this has been the best one since any of these in March through now, right? But this has only been one good one, right? So there's a little bit of, you got to prove me a little more. Hey, I would love us to go up. There's nothing else I can say. What are you doing? You're holding. Like, this needs to go. Right now, the number I'm looking for is 63, 64. I think 64 is the number. I'll go ahead and set an alert right here too. 64 will make me again believe we might be coming into the 90s. Because again, I'm going to delete the line, right? But all that we got from this line that I originally had all the way to here is just red, green, green, red, green, green, red, green, green. Like, that's what I'm hoping for, right? And again, as I zoom out, whole mess of nothing after all that, right? And look, you can see this 90, I'm going to delete it, right? But it's actually hitting the bottom of this. That 90 is actually an important line, and that's where the 50 is, right? So don't believe yourself if you think you're going to break 90. I actually really don't see that happening, especially now that I saw that bottom of the candle down there, right? But if we can get back into that like mid 60s, right? I'm now back in here. I'm now back up here. We're now well over the 8 and the 20. Hopefully that would mean the 8 would golden cross the 20. You know, we like, this isn't a bad MACD. Green, sorry, I zoom out. Green over red, and it looks like it's diverging. Green over red, not diverging, but holding, right? And hey, volume's at least been decent the last, what, 3, 6, 7 candles. That's not bad. I'll take it. Even actually these 4, these 6, and this 1, because I'll say these 3 and these 3 offset. I'll say like these 2 and those 2 offset, and we still have this one big one, right? So since the 5th, volume's been all right, and since the 5th, that's actually been kind of the swing of the parabola, hopefully, right? But end of the day, this is the magic number. It's that 55, 54. We need to stay above the 8 and the 20. Otherwise, again, we've seen it time out. Bad things happen under the 8 and the 20, all right? Mullen is making me believe a little bit more, but that's all it is so far, just a little bit more. Get me back into that 64, it'll be a little bit more. You know what I mean? Like as you start adding little bits of more, little bits of more, little bits of more, then all of a sudden we might be sitting at like 69 cents and ready to maybe fly really quick, even quicker, right? So Mullen's still on my radar. It actually is, all right? I just needed to do a little bit more, but let me know your thoughts and opinions as always, but you know what? I appreciate you so much. Thank you.